Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Chang Gang Sports Show.
Let's go down to Tom and Brent.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to kick off this exciting game, and a big shout out to the Flagler Boys podcast studio for producing this show.
What's up, my friend? How are you?
Hey, how are you, man?
I'm doing well. I'm really well after a great football game last night.
Wow, and I tell you what, man, the U is back, man.
The U, baby. It is all about the U.
It's all about the U. You know what a game last night. What a game. You know, the biggest thing that I take away from that is, first of all, I'll just say Miami, everyone was saying, wow, you know, are they going to get in? Are they not going to get in? It just goes to show a team that was, I think they were the 11th overall in the computer poll. Them and Notre Dame both should have been in, but this just solidifies Miami being there even more. And wow.
You know, the ACC took a beating this year. That's Clemson and all these other teams. So Miami wasn't relevant in the eyes of the people that make those decisions. And I got to tell you, man, they're real.
Yes, they
are real. And like you said earlier, it should have been 41-10. Yeah. Whatever. They 3 dropped interceptions.
Absolutely. And you know what? The big thing that sticks out to me, time of possession. Miami's time of possession, 41 minutes. Ole Miss, 18 minutes. And you're absolutely right. Miami could have easily won this game, 41, 45, 17. I seen Miami drop 3 picks. They've had multiple false starts. They kept sabotaging themselves. And yeah, it just goes. It's a testament to how good Miami is, because as flawed as that they were last night with the penalties and dropping the interceptions, untimely pass interferences, they still held on to win that game. Yeah. So, I mean, they dominated the time of possession. They more than doubled Ole Miss.
And you know what I got to tell you? If you looked, Miami lost both their corners and a safety last night. That's a big loss. That third level was completely decimated, and they brought in a kid that's 17 years old. What was he, 18 years old, because he reclassified himself or whatever, like Malachi Tony? I mean, there's a kid that talk about, that kid right there, man. Put the ball in his hands and things happen.
Yeah, he's special. He's special. I think he's kind of playing himself into a first-round draft pick right now.
100, yeah, but he's only, he can. He should be a senior in high school, and this kid's like dominating for the U.
Kind of like Ryan Williams last year for University of Miami. He came in only 17 years old. He reclassified, same thing. Yeah, this kid is true freshman, unbelievable. Unbelievable.
It was. And Carson Beck shows his experience of, being in college for 9 years, I think he's been in. It's like Bo Nix, been in there forever. But I mean, no, seriously, he played well. Miami, the score reflects a very close game. Listen, Ole Miss's offense is real. I mean, there's no question about that.
No
Miami's defense is still real. The injuries hurt, no doubt. Like you said, they knocked themselves in, they shot themselves in the foot a few times. But they moved the ball. Their offensive line is with that behemoth. Is that guy freakish?
Wow, yeah, they got
6'9", 350. I mean, that's like what is that? That's bigger than a doorway. He's got a duck.
You know what? The thing that was very impressive, what I love, Mario Cristobal was an offensive lineman for Miami.
I remember. That's the scary part.
Yeah, he was back there. He won 2 natties when he was in Miami. He was there 87, 89, and then he left, and they actually won one in 91, but he was already gone. But yeah, he's bringing back that toughness.
You see on the sideline? You see Ed Reed,
all the legends,
Michael Irvin. You think about the alumni from that school. Whew.
Yeah,
Ray Lewis. Lewis is like, he's doing his dance on the sideline. He's excited. You know what? It's fun. I love it. I love the U, and I have to give a shout out to my little buddy Jameson Carter. He called me up. He's like, Tom, you gotta take Miami, right? You're gonna pick Miami, so I'll give him a shout out because I did pick Miami. So.
It's funny. I give a shout. My brother Nick, he said the same thing. He said he just something about the U. He felt like they got their swag back, and
oh yeah, they do.
It seems like they do. And I'll tell you what's interesting. That game last night was played in Arizona, right? Outside of Phoenix, and it was about 65% Ole Miss fan, about 35% the U. They don't travel that good.
No, they don't.
But the championship game, which Miami will be playing in, is in Miami. It's the Orange Bowl. It's at where the Orange Bowl. So that's going to be a huge advantage, I think, when that.
As soon as that happened, I was like, the home game. Yeah. I mean, but Florida's going to be buzzing. And I've gone to the Orange Bowl for the last 5 years. I had gone to the Orange Bowl through the team I used to coach, youth football, and they used to get tickets. And so, the Orange Bowl is very good with the kids. But yeah, that's going to be amazing. And and that brings us right into tonight's game. Indiana, Oregon rematch. That was some football game. That was probably one of the better games of the year.
Yeah, it was. And you know what? The more and more I look at this game, I love the Heisman Trophy winner, Mendoza. I love that defense. Fisher, the linebacker, All-American.
Fisher's a beast.
I think, I know in order to beat Indiana, what I think Oregon's going to have to do, and it's hard. What do you do? Stop the run? What do you do? Stop Mendoza? He can pick you apart.
Bro, did you see him throw on the run? That big, he's a big boy.
Yeah.
He's got some arm talent. Woo.
Yeah, and you know what? They're thinking him going to go number 1 overall. I get it. I get it. I get it now. I thought maybe it was just kind of like he's a system quarterback. No, he's talented. He's very talented.
Talented in size.
But, I think in order for Oregon to win this game, this is what I think. I think they're going to have to play their best game of the year, and I think they're going to have a little bit of help from Indiana. I think they're going to have to turn the ball over once or twice, and I honestly, after watching them dismantle Alabama thoroughly, I don't think Oregon's going to win that game, man.
And you and I always talk about home field advantage. We talked about it with Seattle in the NFL. This game, you got to come. They travel from Eugene to Atlanta is going to be difficult, and Indiana, a basketball school, travels well. I mean, if you watch that game last week, they had a crowd. The crowd was like 70-30, and they travel well. It's a big university. It's like third biggest university in the country. So they travel well, and you know what? Good for them, man. This is a great story. 1945.
It is a great story.
45 since they even made it like a bowl game or something.
It's funny. As me being a huge Michigan fan, I've watched a lot of throwback games, and the last time I remember Indiana relevant was when Michigan had Anthony Carter, which was in 1979.
Well, Indiana made a splash when Penix was there.
They did.
Penix as a rookie before he blew his knee out.
They did. I think that coach Tom Harmon, and he was let go. You're right. He was actually building a good program too. They had a lot of momentum. But
Cignetti.
Yeah, Cignetti is unbelievable.
They say best coaching job of the year, bar none. Do you know? Here's a stat that I found out yesterday that I think is amazing. The talent level on the grading system that they use for the for all the grading of all the kids, 5-star, 5-star players, things like that. Indiana, 72nd ranked talent-wise. 72nd ranked talent-wise.
That's impressive. I know what you mean, because right now you got like Ohio State, Georgia, the Alabamas, Texas. Yep. They're loaded with 5 stars. You're absolutely right. I don't believe Indiana has one 5-star out of high school on that roster.
They picked up one this year in the portal. And he didn't even crack the starting lineup. Cignetti is, and everybody has gone on and on and on. And this is truly one of the greatest coaching jobs of all time. And you know who made that comment? Nick Saban.
Wow,
coming from a guy who knows a little bit about coaching.
Yeah, and you know what? I think we're in a new era right now with college football. The years in the past where you could stack like a Georgia or an Alabama or a Michigan or an Ohio State, where you can put 5 stars on your second string and your third string. Nowadays, if you're a 5-star kid and you're a freshman or a redshirt freshman or possibly a sophomore, sometimes you might not want to wait. And it's kind of hard, when a kid's getting offered, $2, $4, $6 million to jump ship, not only do they want playing time, but the NIL is a big deal right now. Just look at Texas Tech.
I think it kills the sport. I think it kills college football. It really does ruin it. I think it's tarnished it beyond belief, and that's why Saban left. He doesn't want to recruit the same kid 4 years in a row. Nobody wants to do that.
Saban left. Jim Harbaugh left too. When he was at Michigan, he said Michigan will be a transition school, not a transaction school, and he felt the same way.
Great comment.
Yeah, he just didn't feel like this. He didn't want to have to get in a bidding war with a 17-year-old kid in high school, because when you recruit a kid, you want to recruit a kid for academics, to be a good,
sure.
to be a man.
Is that, not with the. Forget about it. This is crazy, and it's ruined the game. But here's the one thing that's going to change. Some of these kids will stay in school for 4 years and not leave early, because if you're getting paid, what the heck? Enjoy college, before you have to go into the grind of life, the game
it's funny you say that, like right now. So the transfer portal opens. It's open from the January 2nd to January 14th. So you got about a 12-day window right now. And what's funny, you make a great point about the money, because right now, if you're a running back, I just have one in particular named Justice Haynes out of Michigan. He's testing the waters right now. I think he's projected at maybe a late second, early third. Well, he would actually make more money, the $1.5 million, staying at Michigan for his senior year. So that right there, you're absolutely
crazy.
So there's good and bad to it, because it does keep some kids in school because they may not get paid like they want.
Right.
But it is crazy. It's basically free agency right now in college.
That's what it is. All right, so let's go. Speaking of free agency, getting into the NFL, to the big boys. Well, first of all, break out the butter, because we're on a roll as far as our picks. We're 5-1. I mean, that's pretty impressive. Yeah. So
let's go, man.
Last week. So if you're a gambling person, you might want to tune into the show, because we're going to get you a winner. But let's go Saturday's games. The Rams, Carolina, double digits. We talked about
10.5.
10.5. 10.5. We've differed on this, and so that's not going to be part of our picks.
That's a playoff game.
I know.
10.5.
But Carolina backpedaled in.
They did.
And the Rams came out and said, you know what? You got Kyron Williams and Corum. You got Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua. You got the wide receiver tight end Higbee, and an offensive line that moves people.
And possibly MVP this year, unless Drake May gets it. But yeah, 47 touchdowns. 7
Matthew
picks?
Stafford.
5,000 yards.
Animal.
What
animal.
Has he won the MVP? No, he hasn't.
No, this is his year.
He's been in the top 5, but... Yeah, a lot of that has to do with him playing in Detroit from 2008 to 2000.
That's true. Hey, listen, at least you guys have made changes. The Jets, no.
Would you like your Jets to get Mendoza?
Oh my gosh, yeah, but I would feel bad if I'm Mendoza's parents. I'm praying that he doesn't go to the Jets, because that's the worst organization.
Like Eli did with San Diego.
Yeah, that's exactly right. John Elway held the Colts hostage and went to the Yankees, which I'm a Yankee fan, so it was good back in the day.
Elway said, if you draft me, I'm gonna go play baseball
for the Yankees, which he did for about until they made the trade late. All right, so back to the Rams, Carolina. I just think this is I think it's a game in the trenches. I don't think Carolina has got a chance in hell.
I'm with you on that. I think the Rams will definitely win this game. It's just the points. I don't like only if this was the regular season, yes. But right now in the playoffs, not only the playoffs, you tend to play a little bit more conservative. It seems like people are going to take that 3 as opposed to going for it maybe on a 4th and 1 at the 35.
Yeah,
I just feel like 10. That's a big spread, man.
Big number. And then so then we go to a game that's. It's a historic game. Let's face it. The Packers-Bears rivalry is real. It's been around a very long time.
I think one of the oldest in the NFL.
Yeah, and you wouldn't believe the numbers, how close they are. Just like the Ravens and Steelers, they're separated by a game. Ravens and Steelers separated by a game, but I think that the Bears are a better team. I think Green Bay, with all the injuries, they're getting some guys back, but I think. Collectively, the Bears have played together, as a group that, they're not plugging and playing these guys. I think the Bears are going to come out. I think Caleb Williams' Soldier Field is going to be electrified, because it's been a while since they've had a winner, and they've never had a good quarterback. I lived in Chicago 10 years, and they had Jet syndrome for a while. Yeah,
you know what? Looking at that game, which is funny, you got Green Bay favored on the road against Chicago, and I'm just going off the eye test. It seems like to me, Chicago has built momentum as the year. They had that last second play against Green Bay on I believe a Sunday Night Football.
Yeah.
They win on a walk-off, but right now it looks like Chicago is going upward and Green Bay seems like they're going in the opposite direction. So
yeah, and Jordan Love's coming back. I get it. And Jordan Love was looking like he wanted to come back in last week's game, but obviously for good reason they didn't bring him in. But I'm telling you, Jordan Love does play well in big games. He's a good big game quarterback.
He's a great quarterback.
Micah Parsons. Josh Jacobs is coming off he's another one coming off of an injury. So I just don't think Green Bay. We talked about this in one of our first shows, that Green Bay is not the team that's going to scare you going into the playoffs. Now, as a Bear fan, the Bear fans that are out there, they love this, because they have a chance to really annihilate them, and I think they're going to win them. I think they're going to beat them.
This is kind of cool. This is kind of when Chicago, the Bears I think they went to the Super Bowl in 2006 and they lost to Indianapolis. That was Peyton's first Super Bowl. Yeah, it kind of brings back vibes like that, but I think Chicago is going to be extremely good going forward for the next 3 to 5 years. This is a scary team. I think they win this wild card game. and I believe they probably don't make it past the divisional. But yeah, this is a great field for Chicago.
Yeah.
Great story.
Yeah.
Caleb Williams kind of like vindicating himself because he was taken #1 overall, Heisman Trophy winner out of USC.
He's real.
He is definitely real.
He's definitely
real.
They compared him right away to Mahomes. That's a lot of pressure to put on somebody, but he has Mahomes-like talent.
He does. The biggest thing, he plays when the game seems to break down, when he scrambles and he can make something out of nothing, you know? And I mean, he doesn't run a lot, but he can.
And surprising. I was surprised by the numbers. He doesn't run as much as I thought he did, but his movement in the pocket is tremendous.
Yeah.
He climbs the ladder in the pocket. He climbs it as good as anybody. He's got tremendous arm strength. So, I think the Bears are in a walk. Okay, so the next game was Bills-Jaguars.
Wow, this is one of the games. This is one of my favorite games coming up to this weekend. This game it's the AFC South division winners, Jacksonville, against Buffalo, and everyone's talking Josh Allen. This is his year. Here's the thing: Josh Allen doesn't have to go through Lamar Jackson this year. He doesn't have to go through Patrick Mahomes. But I like Buffalo in this game. I've seen it looked like Buffalo was struggling too much this year on defense, and I just don't know if Josh Allen doesn't get rolling. It's going to be extremely hard.
I think that this is the game right here. This game right here will tell you what Buffalo Bills we're going to see in the playoffs. That's what I really believe. We got to see what can they do defensively. Can Bosa be the man? He had a good year. Bosa had a good year, and actually played more games than he's ever played all in his career, which is scary. I mean, to think that they kept on giving him $100 million and he's never finished the season.
Wow.
Yeah, scary. But Josh Allen, James Cook, great running back. They have a great run RPO. My thing is defensively, can they stop anybody? And also, I think at wide receiver, they have two great tight ends, but I think at wide receiver is where they really lack. I really do.
Yeah,
I think it's a struggle.
You're right, and I feel like Buffalo. That's the one thing. Like Josh Allen, great. MVP, he's a lot. He's my favorite quarterback. I think
mine too.
He's a lot of people's favorite quarterback. Yeah. The thing is, though, he can only put that Superman cape on so long, and he just needs a little help. And a lot of times it's the tight end that he checks down to, but sometimes they will double team the tight end.
Yeah, because that's his go-to. Yeah. I mean, because they don't scare you at wide receiver. And I got to tell you, Josh Allen's ability to run and he still pounds the rock like nobody else as a quarterback. He's a big man. He's to be that athletic and that big and that strong. I love the guy. I love him. But again, here's my thing about the organization. The organization has had 4 years, right? They've been to the AFC Championship or 3 years.
Yeah, sniffing every year for about the last 4 or 5 years.
Why have you not gotten a big-time wide receiver? Why have you not done something? Why have you not taken the kid from Florida State? He hasn't panned out. I don't understand the organization. They have the team.
Yeah, that wide receiver you're speaking of, he was supposed to be that franchise type wide receiver, but he's not. He's supposed to be that guy. I mean, you just look at the luxury like a Stafford has. He's got Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams, and they got a great running game. That's the difference. So Buffalo, a lot of times I feel like Buffalo, they wouldn't have to, but it seems like they have to be in shootouts all the time, and because we're talking about how bad the wide receivers are on Buffalo, but a lot of that has to do with also it's putting the ball in Josh Allen's hands and forcing the ball downfield, because they are in a lot of shootouts because their defense can't hold anybody. So,
I know, and that's the shame of it. So
I do like Buffalo though in this game. I just don't know if that defense can win them further.
The more we talk about it, the more I start to think a little more skeptical. I mean, because ATN can run the ball.
Yeah.
And if Buffalo's defense does not show up, Trevor Lawrence is playing well. They have two good wide receivers.
Yeah.
They have, a good tight end, and their defense has been that plug and play we talked about. They're solid. They're in the
very good defense.
In the top 10 as far as defenses.
Yeah, and I think Jacksonville just doesn't get talked about a lot because they're in Duval County. They're probably in the 30s or 40s for viewing metropolitan area. It's not a big area. Land wise, but not population. So
right, land wise, no, I never knew that.
That's a weird
geographic on our show. But I can tell you this, I think it's a good game. I think, like I said, this is the measuring stick for both teams.
Yeah.
If Jacksonville comes out, stops that offense, and then which is doable because, like you said, keying on the tight ends and stopping the running game, putting 8 in the box is going to be the way to go. Because they don't have that downfield guy, that downfield threat.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I think you pointed out that right there. I think if they can load up the box, stop Cook from getting 120, 150 plus yards, Jacksonville could very well win this game. And I know Buffalo is favored 1.5. I think Josh Allen does get it. He puts it together this weekend. He does get by Jacksonville in a close one. But I mean, Jacksonville, I wouldn't be surprised if they won. But I do like Buffalo in this game too. Yeah. I think Josh Allen does put it together. I just don't know how far that defense is going to take him in the playoffs.
Yeah. Well, the next one, 49ers Eagles. Okay, defending Super Bowl champs, that have had all kinds of things, from a standpoint of chaos in the locker room and their culture being tested with Brown having, making comments and Barkley obviously not having a Saquon Barkley year. And Jalen Hurts is just different. The body language just tells me different. Like, I don't know. It's almost like that Super Bowl hangover really exists. But then when they needed to step up, that defense comes out and they play, with Carter up front. I mean, they play well and they're a team that you never know. Another measuring stick to see what team you're going to get in the playoffs.
You're talking about, we're talking about Buffalo's defense and how weak they are. Then this is the complete opposite with Philadelphia. Now, this is a defense, in my opinion, that Philadelphia can lean on, and this defense is good enough, like we saw last year, to win the Super Bowl.
Sure.
My problem with Philly this year is that defense is spectacular, but that offense, I know Barkley had over 1,000 yards this year, but I think he's only averaged on like 3.9 yards a carry.
We always talk about on this show is we talk about in the trenches, and if you don't have Barkley didn't have a Barkley yet, and they have more talent than as much talent, maybe even more than anybody else in the NFL other than the Rams. You got Avante Smith, and you got Brown, and you got Dallas Goedert, and then Barkley in the backfield. Come on, man!
Yeah.
And Jalen Hurts is your quarterback. Offensively, they don't lack. Defensively, they can stop you. So where is it? Where's the disconnect? Because there's a disconnect.
You're absolutely right. I don't know what happened last year. That offense, it was humming. They didn't have to put up 30 points a game, but they still did. And that defense was smothering. And you know what? This year, defense has stepped up, especially in that Buffalo game a couple weeks ago. Yeah. But the offense is nowhere. I don't know what happened to that offense.
This will be the test. And hey, man, maybe the light switch comes on. But again, if your offensive line isn't moving people, you're not going to do well. So, and then what do we got? Houston in this. Oh no, got to go to the 49ers. What are we talking about? You got to stick with that game. 49ers.
Yeah, 49. I think like you said. Yeah, and what we talked about, we said Philadelphia has such a good defense. They can win it, but they just don't seem very balanced, and their offense doesn't seem like they're just clicking right now, and it's the wrong time to sputter out. On the other hand, the 49ers. I know Brock Purdy had those 3 turnovers a couple weeks ago, but man, he's looked a lot better of late.
No question.
And that defense, even with two of their starters gone for the year, that defense is looking world class. I like the 49ers in this game to upset Philadelphia.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay. And I think the 5 points is going to be that conversation we'll have in a minute. But as far as McCaffrey and this is the test. This really is the test this is the measuring stick for all teams. We'll see what everybody's all about in the first round. No question about it. So the last one we got is the Steelers and Texans. That's in Pittsburgh. Now I'm going to give you a stat that's blew me away. Mike Tomlin on Monday nights is 18-2 on Monday Night Football.
Wow.
And he's undefeated on Monday night at home on Monday nights.
Wow.
Has never been beaten at home on a Monday Night Football game. That's in 20 years.
That's impressive.
That's in 20 years.
I'll tell you this. I love Pittsburgh. I love the identity of the team, defense, baby. I lived in the area for a few years.
This team.
It feels like, I hate to say
feels
this.
like Carolina.
It feels like a mediocre Pittsburgh team.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
As much as that offense is struggling, and they were. Let's be honest.
They get DK back.
They get DK back, but they got into the playoffs because Baltimore missed a field goal.
Yeah.
I mean, Here's the thing. Houston statistically #1 defense in all of football.
But where were they last week? So who put 30? I mean, they put 30 on them. 30.
You know what? That is a great question. The only thing I will say is possibly they knew they couldn't win that division.
Yeah, right.
I'm thinking that maybe they sat some of their starters. But,
I agree.
You know, I think they know they couldn't have won because Jacksonville kind of clinched that division 2 weeks ago or last week. I think it was 2 weeks ago. So I think they couldn't have moved to the 3 spot. But, man, I tell you what, Pittsburgh is going to have their hands full, man. Aaron Rodgers he's not going to be able to get out that pocket. I don't, even if he does have a good game, I just don't think.
Yeah.
I don't think that.
I think C.J. Stroud and Nico Collins. I think if they can get guys like Nick Chubb and get their running game going, I think that they have a good team to go ahead and take the Steelers down at home, like you said, because it's not that same feel for the Pittsburgh.
No, and I'll tell you what, nobody's talking about the AFC South. You got Jacksonville quietly sitting there hosting Buffalo
And Houston,
and you folks. I'll be honest with you, nobody's talking about them, but I would not be surprised if either of those teams went to the Super Bowl. That's how good Houston's defense is. And what do they always say? Defense wins championships.
Yeah, offense wins games. Okay, but now what's the last one? The team I've been beating up, and it's not because I'm a Jet fan. It's the New England Patriots.
Ooh.
Good game.
Wow, that's a good game.
Yeah, Chargers are... Man, 2 big losses at the offensive line. When you lose both your tackles, that is devastating.
Devastating. Yeah.
And especially because you don't have a running game. Everything goes into, everything's going to be on, their quarterback to do it all. And Justin Herbert is a great quarterback, but I think that's a lot to ask of. And Vrabel will have them ready to play. There's no doubt strength of schedule. Another example of strength of schedule.
Yeah.
They're getting the team, Pittsburgh and the Chargers are the 2 teams I fear least in the playoffs. And, it's just, I think Drake May, I think their running game, I think that, Diggs, and I think offensively they'll have enough to get by. But I think, they don't, again, Patriots haven't showed me that they're the team to beat yet.
No.
And I say yet.
Yeah, and I'm looking at it right here. And you're right. A lot of New England did end the year 14-3. They put up some of the most points in the NFL. Their defense is good. Them and the Chargers, they have pretty similar defenses. The difference in this, Drake May on the year, he threw for 4,400 yards, 31 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. He's probably going to finish second in the MVP behind Stafford. But Herbert, I know you look at Herbert, he had 26 touchdowns, 13 picks. A lot of those picks are because, absolutely, like you just said, both of their offensive tackles are gone for the year. They have just gotten devastated with injuries, and it's just a testament to Jim Harbaugh because they still ended the year 11-6. But man, I don't know how good that offensive line can hold up, man.
All right, now we got to take it to the last thing, the last part, our super picks, as they call it, because we are super at it. So three things we got, 3 games quickly. We've got we've decided we're gonna go San Francisco plus the 5 against Philadelphia. Right?
Yes.
And we're going to take the Bills minus the 1 against Jacksonville.
Yes.
And what was the third one we're going?
I think, I know Mr. D is not going to like this, but
Houston against the
I like Houston minus 3 against Pittsburgh because I don't think Pittsburgh's going to be able to score against Houston, not that much.
Yeah. Well, shout out to Little Dick and Bunnell because he asked me for my picks today, and I told him he had to watch the show to get it.
Okay.
So here's your picks, for you guys out there in the Mondex, and it's I think Houston 49ers and the Bills are all covers.
I like that too. Houston 49ers plus 5.5, and the Bills
in San Francisco.
Yeah,
that's a big deal. You're in Philly. I would never do it, but No,
I think they are in Philadelphia.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, 49ers 16.
Oh yeah, the 49ers.
Yeah, they're going to be playing.
Well, they had it different in the my bookie.
But still, go back to that 49ers though. Still, they're giving the 49ers 5.5 points. I like your pick, Tom. I'm right with you with that one, man. I'm right with you with the 49ers. 49ers.
That changes a little bit, but not that much. Yeah. But that's. We got a minute left, so I just wanted to say another good show, brother, and I look forward to seeing you again on our next show. Could be live.
Yes, thank you, man. Live. Yeah, it could be live.
And I'll see you on the recap on Tuesday.
Okay, man.
All right, buddy. Have a good one.
You too.